I'm so stoked to see Richard and Ivan talk again.
They're gonna do a live?
They are.
Dude, Ivan loves Hex now. I fucking so awesome, dude.
Oh, he always has. Richard and Ivan have been friends and on stream and at cons together at conference, like Bitcoin conference lectures for like forever, for
Well, I
years
guess
and
I mean,
years.
like, it's just awesome to see him like publicly, like, continuously talking about it and shit. It's just really cool.
Dude's got bags.
He's getting the pulse chain sweats. That guy freaking gets it.
So I believe, guys, we may launch before July.
If
Oh, no,
if you've been
I
paying
believe-
attention, like the atmosphere is completely changed in the Telegram and the Pulse Dev chat. I don't know if you're paying attention to that stuff. There's like atmosphere has shifted a little bit over the last couple of days. I'm feeling pretty good about it.
Dude, the atmosphere has changed. Richard went back through and unblocked like a bunch of people and followed the Hex Joker back.
There's an
Did he
acorn
really?
and
I
all
didn't
that.
even know that. Did he really?
Yeah, today. Dude, shit's happening right now. Bullish.
Dude, I honestly, like, I could not be any more bullish on this whole fucking thing. It's just crazy, man.
They are working on the bridge, but first priority right now for testnet is to finish off Pulsex. So the buy and burn, the single-sided staking, limit orders, that is their priority on testnet right now, then the bridge.
I would say we don't need limit orders at first level, honestly. Uniswap does
Doesn't-
not have limit order for now, I don't know how many years.
Yeah, well, Pulsex does have limit orders, and it was on V2B, so it doesn't matter what you think. It matters is what they've already had as a product and what they're working on right now.
Yeah, but I'm just saying that it's not a priority for me. I mean, they are doing it, okay, but it's not a priority like the bridge. But we're gonna try that with Pulse. It's good limit orders because you don't pay any fees, and it's a very good thing to DCA also.
Are you guys feeling like there's, I've dipped in a couple of times today, and I'm hearing some great questions from some new people that I haven't heard from, and they're obviously asking questions about, Pulse Chain, and obviously from a slightly new perspective, which is amazing. Are you guys feeling like there is more interest coming in, and we're getting these kind of amazing interactions with new people?
Definitely, dude. I see it right now. I see it in the engagement online and in chat rooms and stuff like here. And I think I hope that soon that will start trickling into the volume on the order books of the Hex liquidity pools.
Cool.
I think people are seeing Richard's announcements and like starting to feel like it might actually be a real thing after all this time.
I'm going to be fascinated to see what happens when, Pulse Chain launches, biggest airdrop in the history of crypto. All of these new, users coming into Pulse Chain, be it Shib or Link or whatever. All of these, people that have just been told that they've got free coins and there's liquidity and their coins are worth something. It's going to be an avalanche. A Coast, those boys, are they Aussie?
They're made up of Americans and Australians.
Because they're talking about like some kind of on-ramp, etc., and all of that stuff. Like, what's your take on those boys?
Yeah, I think, I need to reserve full judgment for when they release, but from the communications publicly and the communications privately, I've actually had private video conferences with them where they show their faces as well. They're a little bit more private when it comes to the public arena, but there's a number of people behind the scenes that have had video conferences with them. From the outside, looking at what they say they're going to do, it looks extremely bullish. I look forward to seeing them.
That's great to hear. And I get the feeling they're good guys doing things right. But what's your take on what they could potentially offer?
Well, they're offering on and off ramps with no custody for Ethereum and Pulse Chain. That's bullish.
Like, there's these like heavyweight, finance guys that obviously know their way around the market and, regulations and shit. And they're clearly hexagons, probably made a boatload of money through Hex. But they are now able to actually set up these on and off ramps for consumers, customers, whatever you want to call them, around the world, and just doing the work. Like, Richard hasn't asked them to do this. They probably haven't even contacted him about like what they want to do, but they just know the power of Hex and Pulse Chain. And there's like these amazing players that are just doing this work for us. And obviously we have to be careful and do our own research and blah, blah, blah. But like the fact that there's these heavy players, heavy understanding finance legacy peeps that are like, wait, so you need this for DeFi and Hex and Pulse Chain, I can make it happen. It's just absolutely incredible. Another quick question, Magic Carpet Ride. When we're talking about on and off ramps, are we talking about like on and off ramps straight into, like you said, like ETH and Hex? Like, we're talking about like straight from bank accounts or credit cards, or like what we're talking about?
Yeah, it's probably bank accounts or credit cards. You'd have to go again, look on their website or their Twitter, it may be different for different jurisdictions.
I love the fact that you've spoken to these guys and seen them face to face and vouch for them. That's great.
We were one of the first to interview them, and then off screen, they showed their faces. I'm not going to go into details, but they have built a bricks and mortar office somewhere in the world as well. So, like, I feel like they're the real deal, but people still need to verify and not trust. So they should do their own research.
That's cool, man. Thanks.
They are in the Builders Guild, which is like maybe 10 to 15 projects, about 60 people in total, and they're very helpful in there and offered a lot of legal insight through their legal team for other teams that are in that group. So they appear from the outside to be quite genuine.
Wait, what's the Builders Guild?
The Builders Guild is a group of teams that are built hexagons and the like that are building products for Pulsechain. Some of those products may be spilling over also into Ethereum, but primarily Pulsechain. And the founder of that group, KG, has actually had 2 spaces now for builders from the Builders Guild. It's a group of teams that have come together to discuss everything Pulsechain and their own projects and what they're doing, and if they're having difficulties with validators and that sort of thing. So it's an awesome resource, and in that guild is a couple of the Pulsechain devs.
Nice. So, like, some of the Pulsechain devs are like kind of public?
Well, it's a private group, so not public.
Can you expand on like how many Pulsechain devs you kind of know about?
I think there's 2 or 3 in there. They're helping people with issues, verification of contracts, validator queries. Gamma was put on in there and now is officially part of that RH ecosystem team from a validator point of view, which is awesome because a year ago there was radio silence from anyone from Pulsechain. And so all of us guys were sitting there like, how do we know what's happening here? We really need some advice. We need to have some transparency to help with building. That has clearly changed over the last 6 months.
Nice.
And so that collaboration in there, which I think is paramount to having a good chain. Yeah. And I think they realize that. So, but they're respectful. They don't come in there and release info that Richard does not want released.
New projects and developing feel like you're getting the feedback and interaction with Richard Hart's team. Like, that is incredibly rewarding and bullish to hear.
Yeah, it's amazing because, as I said, a year ago, very much like shooting in the dark, felt like everyone would have been feeling like they're doing this alone. It'd be great to have some sort of communication, like a line of communication with Pulsechain, and that just wasn't the case a year ago, but that has definitely changed, and it's very positive, and that change has been for the best. It's the best thing for the chain.
So it sounds like, obviously, I know that you're kind of involved but not involved with a lot of like developers and people that are planning to release on Pulsechain and do the right thing, but that like the community in that domain feels rewarded and involved. Like, is that where we're at? Is like everybody's happy right now?
Pretty positive in there.
That's great.
I keep seeing all these messages and I chime in every now and then. But what I really think, you can't compare PLS to ETH. You can't compare PLSX to Uniswap. They're different. They're different in every way. What I find shocking is how, some people downplay PLSX. I don't think it's a normal DEX. I don't think you can look at it like a normal DEX.
Who have you heard downplaying PLSX? Because we're all very, very, very bullish on that.
Some of those wanker hexagons that yeah.
You got to think though, if people are downplaying something or upplaying something, then maybe they have an alternative narrative. So just take all that with a grain of salt because that's crypto, buddy.
In my opinion, I don't think 3 PLSX is worth 1 PLS. I don't think it is. I wouldn't sacrifice 3 PLSX for 1 PLS. That's just me. I actually hope that Mainnet launches with all the bridges open, so there's no ratio trading.
It's still a ratio. It's still a ratio anyway. The price is for the humans.
Yeah, but it's...
every trade in crypto is a ratio. The price is just for the humans. Blockchain does not understand dollars.
100%. And you know what? For anyone listening that's panicking over this is all I can say. It's not going to do 100x in one day and all that sort of shit. You got plenty of time to stack up your bag. Don't panic. There's always going to be people that sell, take profit, which will create an opening for you to get in at a good position. You just got to be patient. And I've learned that. I'm actually glad that it's taken this long to launch Mainnet. Really glad. In my opinion, Richard Hutt saved me money. That money that I sacrificed, to me, that's just been, it's like sitting in, not the bank, because you might not be able to take your money out of the bank, but it's just been sitting there. X amount that I sacrifice, I might have lost that with every other coin that I brought the past year. You get me?
Yeah.
What I'm trying to say is,
it was the best. It was the
discovery or
best
not.
savings account at time of sack at the value of dollar fucking sacked at the time, right? It worked out well.
I heard recently, and somebody put it into a great way of thinking about it, is that when we sacked for Pulse and Pulsex, that was the top of the bull.
Yes.
Since then, we've locked up those funds for 2 years, going down into a bull bear. We would have sold that money, but now we're about to launch with excessive amounts of points in this new blockchain. And what would you have done with that money? You probably would have sold it, but Richard Hart to the rescue.
100%. I know so many people that have lost so much money in the past 12 months, like so much money. And I know a couple of people that are like me. Thank God that, Mainnet never launched a year ago.
If we launched a year ago, we would have had a substandard blockchain. So
exactly.
Now that we've actually got a fork of ETH 2.0 where Pulsechain is in an infinitely better position for longevity.
I'm literally biting off my knuckles as to how happy I am with how this is playing out.
Oh, it's the best. And Richard Hart has proved a number of times of how many scammers are out there. People didn't understand his marketing strategy. I did. Sometimes you need to get eyes on you. And if what you normally do isn't getting enough attention that you need, you got to do crazy shit to get the attention on you. And now have a look at Richard Hart's personality now. It's exactly the way it was, before Sacrifice. You know what I mean? It's who he really is. So now he's got all these eyes on him, all these eyes on Pulsechain, Pulsex, on Hex, and now people can really see who Richard Hart really is as a person.
And what he's done is totally pull back on that whole outrage marketing, and now he's like Mr. Humble, and he's retweeting and tweeting about like important shit. Honestly, we are in the hands of a master.
We're in the hands of someone that actually wants to make crypto better. But the guy doesn't need the money. He's in it for legacy. People got to start listening to that. If he was in it for the money, he would have sold Hex. He would have done this. He's not in it for the money. He's already got money. He's in it for legacy. And you know what I love? He's in it for price performance too.
I believe it's called The Glory.
The Glory.
He hasn't had a live stream for maybe about 8 months, right?
Yeah.
Let that sink in. Like, he used to live stream weekly, and in my view, that is like the most wonderful thing you can ever imagine. Like, we are championing, we're carrying the torch, we are educating and helping people and, explaining exactly what's going on with his new product. He doesn't need to. We're doing it for him. He hasn't needed to do it for 8 months, but when he comes back, my God, you can't even believe what's going to happen when he comes back.
Also, some of the big sacrifices are in the 4 zeros. 4 zeros and a 7, 4 zeros and an 8.
They will get fucked in case that they sell early because remember the liquidity will be very low and they will be fucked by the slippage. So I don't think that the big wallets will actually intend to sell at the beginning, at least not all of them, because it was not the idea. I mean, the idea of the ICO or of the sacrifice is that you buy the maximum amount that you want with with the same price. In case that you want to buy it in the market, it will not be possible. You need to put limit orders, and you need to wait for your orders maybe months to get in. So the idea for the big wallets is to buy with a price, and then they will actually hold for long term, for years maybe. But
I don't know. I kind of disagree a little bit with the big wallets. I think you're going to see these big wallets, these people that sacrificed, $100K, $50K, $500K, $1 million. I think you're going to see those people sell off around a 10x, and then we're going to see a fairly big dip, and maybe they get back in. But I think the big wallets, are likely going to be selling around that 10x mark.
For instance, the biggest wallet, Overwatch, Rackham, is a syndicate of people. Now, some of those people may want some returns early. So their rate is 4 zeros. So they could do a 10, 20x, 30x. It's not our 10 or 20, 30x, but it is for them. And they may take some profit by providing liquidity. Okay. So you just need to think of all the different scenarios that can play out.
But here we are not talking about 20x. We are talking about the launch, and maybe people start selling directly heavily from 2x from the sacrifice average. That's the issue. So that could drop the price and the sacrifice rate. And since 2 years, people are losing money and all that stuff. That could be unfortunate for sacrifice. I mean, for me also. Because
Unfortunate. That's not even unfortunate. That's
I feel like
actually
it's fortunate because I
fortunate.
really
No,
think
it's not
gonna
fortunate
get
for
that done.
people that does not have money now to inject. Honestly, guys, we are not banks, so I mean, we're not the same. So it's people that just when run out of money and they did put money before 2 years ago, and then if they actually open and they see the price dump 10x from the sacrifice under the sacrifice, they just will watch and they will watch their money gone, and they will have
Well,
to.
You
to
only
be honest
lose
with
if you
you,
sell.
just to stop you real quick, just so you know, I know it sounds
You
cliche,
only lose if you sell.
but you only lose money if you hit that sell button. If they sacrifice money and they see that price go down and they don't have any dry powder to DCA or whatever, then I mean they're gonna be happy when it goes back up because it will.
Yeah, just simply wait. That's all it really boils down to. Like, I get it that people have been quote unquote waiting for like 2 years or so for this to get
Yeah, they shouldn't
started.
have sacrificed what they were not willing to lose.
That means
Uh,
that they didn't. That means they kind of
They
put
FOMO'd
themselves in
in.
a
They did it
precarious
wrong.
uh,
position.
I,
Yeah.
we're not.
You're not a smart investor if you did that.
Looked on every live that Richard made before, and he said himself that sacrificing is very good and potentially will be the low price that you will get in because you're actually getting the stuff with no price. And he said
Right.
it 2 or 3 times.
Mm-hmm.
The thing
Right.
about it is, dude, like, yeah, if you sacrifice for Pulsechain and Pulsex without doing the research and not understanding that it could take 6 months, a year, 2 years for you to, to get those X's that you think you're gonna get, and you
No,
just
we are
freak
not.
out when it drops, it's like, I don't know, you didn't do it properly, in my opinion.
No.
Also, a lot of people
We're not
probably
talking.
over leveraged themselves here as
Uh,
well, so you got,
we're not talking about X's here. We're talking about launching under the sacrifice rate or not. We are not talking about 10,000 or
Why
100x
would you sell it if you waited this long? Why would you sell it under the sacrifice rate? It doesn't make sense.
because there is 2 3 wallets that actually sacrificed heavily. They will gonna dump the price and with a slippage. Don't remember that they have
Right.
the bonus
That's
I
2.5.
see what you're saying.
that's actually a good thing.
They do have the bonus 2.5, so they're selling at, for example, the same sacrifice or maybe 1.5x from the sacrifice average. They have money,
The thing is,
I'm
bro,
buying it.
this is some good advice for you. Whales do whale shit. It is what it is, you gotta just hold, man. If it dumps, it goes.
Well, yeah. If it dumps, it's just
Whales will be
redistribution.
whales. You can't control what they do.
Mind
So,
you,
so what's your
you
play, guys?
also have to think about this as well. You got to also think that there's a lot of people who didn't get a chance to sacrifice for Pulsechain. Some people sacrifice way after the time frame to sacrifice, which means they're hungry to buy up those dips. There's going to be lots of people. Even though it's great to have a few whales, even when they redistribute, and by redistribute I mean sell their holdings down, that's just gonna get spread out to everybody else who's been waiting on the hundreds and thousands of people who have been waiting on the sidelines.
And not even just those people. The people that are waiting that have dry powder that are ready to DCA if price does fall like that.
Yeah,
For me,
can I?
example, like you asked what my strategy was. I'm not doing any ratio trading. I'm just literally, I have what I have. My bags are my bags, and I hope one of those whales does do that, so I can just DCA and scale down or scale
If that
in.
was actually going on, would you guys even know how to look at it when there's no price?
You talking about pre-bridge?
Yeah.
I don't think there's a way.
Yes, there is.
Yeah, that's
So,
Unless you
ratios.
just look at the ratios.
Can I just add to this conversation whereby the obvious thing is like all of the whales that came in sack phase, day 1 to 10, whatever it was, all of these players that put in millions of dollars are already very, very familiar with Richard Hart, Hex, the whole ecosystem. Like, you think there's some kind of random like trader whales just coming in and like, planning to like rip this thing apart. No, all of these big peeps that came in, they know exactly what's on the table,
That's
and
true.
as if they're going to like be the ones, the whales, literally the whales who are in day one. Are they going to be the ones to shred this? No.
Like they're not gonna try. They're not gonna
A lot of them
proverbially
don't know how
just
to do
shoot
it.
themselves in the foot.
I think they are on direct relationship with Richard Hart. That could be
I
possible.
don't think so.
That's 100% guaranteed. Well, I don't think all of them, but I would imagine a lot of those people that sacked all that money, those millions and millions, probably.
I think people are
Probably.
thinking about these other whales a lot, and it's kind of funny.
Yeah, at the end of the day, whales do whale things. It just, even if they did do that, who cares? Like, we're just gonna buy it up.
Yeah, I'm very excited for the launch. To be honest,
Do you have a hex spec currently?
Unfortunately, I didn't have hex before. I just bought for the copy, yes. But I did.
Okay, cool.
I was not a hexian. I didn't know about hex before.
Well, welcome, dude. Glad you're here.
Thank you, man. I sacrificed more for PL6 because I had money more when on January when we did the sacrifice for on February. I don't even remember. But yeah, I think that PLS may perform well at the beginning than PL6 since it's layer 1.
My friend, you are not the only person to come in a little bit later after the hype of Pulse sacrifice to going for PLSX, but that is still an excellent investment, as you well know. It's going to be exciting times.
Yeah, you're in the right spot for sure, dude.
I hope so.